Okay, today is January 28th, 2025, and this is episode number 2 of the Pear series. So I grafted a bunch of grafts onto my tree, the ones that I ordered. So I'll go around and I'll show you what I have grafted. So here we have Yonashi. I grafted it right there. This one here is an Orient pear. I bought a tree, but I need to prune that tree back. And so because of the prune branches, I used the prune branches to graft right here. And here I have a Shinseiki pear. And I did the exact same thing, but this one has been done a while back. I bought a tree. I pruned it, so I used the branch to graft here. And then this one here is the Hosui that I grafted today. So for the Korean giant, I still have a lot of pruning that I have to do. But right now I'm only doing grafts, so the pruning is going to be later for the green giant. But I started on this tree here. I pruned back the Chojuro because I needed to free space, you see. This is the Chojuro right here in the middle. And you can see I just pruned those. Those are fresh cuts right there. And all the way to the top, I pruned it so it's pretty nice and clean. You see how it's not crisscrossing? There's space, there's airflow. And the Scion's wood, here's what they look like. So I cut a bunch of large branches here. And so I cut these down to around this size here. I'm going to save this as Scion wood so that I can graft later. These are going to be grafted on my pears on the property, and also for some friends that want me to graft their trees, so I'm going to be using these as well. So I got a lot of Scions that I got to use up, and if I don't use it up, I'm probably just going to leave it in the fridge for another year or so and see how how viable they would be after a year. I've done only up to 8 months so far. Okay, so for the this is the multi-grafted initially. I mean, all my pears are multi-grafted now. So I haven't added any. Actually, I added one graft to that. The Kefir pear. I think it's the Kefir pear. Oh man, the tag flew up somewhere. I gotta find it. I think this might be the Kefir pear, but we'll have to check. That may not even be a successful graft, so we'll see about that. And then this one here, I started to do more grafts. Man, this tree is so beautiful. It has all kinds of different grafts. So I grafted, let's see what I have today. Yakumo. This is a new variety I've never had before. Yakumo. And then I added, let's see what here. Orient. The Orient pear here. And then here I have Hosui. Added that one right there. So that is only the few grafts that I've added to that one, and I need some more pruning up there to clear all those spaces. This is my apple tree here, and I already pruned a lot of these back, so the apple tree is good to go. You see in the middle there's a lot of space. Good airflow is going to go through there. Good sun is going to penetrate through when the leaves grow out. And you see how it's in a circular pattern, just outward and not pointing up. And finally this one here, another Shinko. And I still need to do more pruning. Okay, today is February 23rd. And we are going to spray our trees. So this is what I'm using right here. Just mix your spray according to the instructions and you should be good to go. Okay, so for your sprayer, you can use a pump spray if you want, or any spray you have. If you want to invest a little bit, I have a lot of fruit trees on my property and here. So this is a good investment for me because this is it's kind of like automated, and it sprays really, really nice. And so the only thing is it needs a cord. And so let me plug it in and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here we are. It has a little harness right here and the on and off button. And then when I spray, I just turn it on. So it's pretty nice, and it does everything automated. So it's a lot less work for me. And also make sure when you spraying this, do it on a calm day. That way the spray doesn't fly back onto you. Okay, today is February 25th, 2025. We are just over the freezing temperature. I think that's it for the year. It won't get any colder. It won't freeze anymore, or so I hope. So we are now just cleaning up and pruning the trees back some more. I need to use the ladder to get to the very top right there. So I've started already, and you see it is very nice and clean. And here is what I chopped off so far. These are huge branches from the top, and anything that's crowding, I just trim them all off. And so now you can see the tree is it's not crisscrossing too much. There's still a few branches at the top that I couldn't get to, but I think next year I'm gonna cut them back so that it'll be shorter. But right now there's a lot of fruiting buds, and the pear tree, or the Korean giant at least, is finally to the age where it's starting to produce a lot more. And so I want to see how much it can produce this year, and if it's gonna produce all the way to the top. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna cut it off like right around right there next year. But yeah, it is a very exciting year. I got some new grafts going. I'm trying to air lay that piece because I was gonna cut it off anyway, but instead of just chopping it off, I'm attempting to air lay, and if it works, I might get another tree, but we'll see. If it doesn't work, I'll just cut it off. And then here we have the other pears, and I've also cleaned up some of the branches that are closer to the bottom. The one at the top I will get to with the ladder. And here is the other. This is the Shinko, and you see those are the grafts that I've added. And the good thing is that because I covered it up, the temperature in here is much warmer. You see, it's almost like a dome, like a greenhouse, and you can see there's already buds coming out of those that are wrapped up. And same with the other one. Let me show you. You see, there's already buds coming out of that because it's much warmer inside the bag. You see there? There's some buds right there. The leaves are already growing out while the other tree, or the rest of the tree, is still sleeping. And same with this, you see there? The buds are starting to form because it's really nice and warm inside the bag. And also here on my Korean giant, you see? The buds are starting to kind of pop out. And then my air layer from last year successfully rooted. So here I am with 2 new pear varieties, not varieties, but trees that I actually got from these here. You see, I'm air laying these. And so once they take root, then I'll have these here that I can work with and graft other varieties onto it, just like I did right here. You see, this is the European pear, which is the suckers that came out of this. And you see, I grafted something else on top already right there. And so now I have a new tree. So every year I get around 2 to 3 trees just doing it this way. Here's another one, you see. This is the same thing. It rooted, and so I planted it here. And so pretty soon I'll dig it out of there and I'll plant it into its own pot. Here's my apple tree, and I already pruned everything, and I opened up the center, and as you can see, right in the middle, it's nice and open. And then I'm training the branches to grow outward. And so I have a nice circular pattern
with open space in the middle. And then here is my other Shinko tree. You see, the branches are nicely spread apart. I'm working on getting the base of the tree together. But yeah, so that one's looking good. I might chop off the top right there. I don't like that top, so I'll probably gonna chop that off. And my persimmon tree here, look at that, nicely pruned. Nothing's left. I pruned a ton of these branches down, so now it's pretty bare and clean and nice. Same with this one here, you see, all the branches have been pruned. It's all nice and neat. So that's that for now. So we'll come back pretty soon and I'll give you guys another update once the flowers and the leaves come out. Okay, today is March 7th 2025, and the pear trees are starting to wake up. Some of the trees or different varieties are already starting to bloom, so I'll go through and I'll show you that. But here is my Korean giant, and you see some of those bags there, those are my grafts, and it looks like all of the grafts have taken. So I think I may have 100% success rate on all of the grafting that I did this year. So let's take a closer look. So here is my first graft here. Look at that, guys, starting to grow. And this one here is the Yonashi. You see there, the buds are forming. And here we have the Suli. That one looks to be alive. And then here, I think these are Orient. The flag flew off for this one, but I know that's an Orient because I grafted two of them. Actually, here it is right here. Yep, that's Orient pear, grafted onto my Korean giant. That one's working. And this is here, I just added this. This is a Chojuro, so that looks to be okay. And here, this is the Shinko graft that I did many seasons ago. Here's the union right here. And now it looks like it's part of the Korean giant. It produces enormous fruits because the Korean giant is a very big and healthy tree. So it does help with the large fruit production. Okay, so that is the Korean giant. I trimmed it pretty well. See, all of the pruning, you see they're nice and clear. A lot of the branches at the top, they're crisscrossing. I trimmed them all off and it looks pretty nice now. You see? And when you're pruning your pear trees, guys, be very careful to not prune buds that look like this. These are your fruiting buds right here. You see? They grow very short, like onto the sort of like the branch. You see? Those are all fruiting buds. If you cut those, the flowers of those, you'll be missing those. So if you want to prune it, the best thing to do is you go to branches that are new. So you can easily tell they're new branches because you see, so you can easily tell if the branches are new or if it grew this season is if you follow it, you know, to the end. You see this, let's say this is a new branch right here. You follow it to the end, and where it gets to the ring, it has a little ring. See that ring right here? The ring basically signify that is a year of growth. So from here to here, this is the new growth. From here to here, that is last year's growth. That's what those rings are for. Some of them, yeah, you can tell pretty easily. Some you cannot. But basically, you see, that's a ring right here. So from here to here, that is the growth from this year. And then if you go further down, here's a ring right here. See that? That's from the other year. And if you follow, here's another year. And if you follow, you keep going, here's another year. So basically, you can kind of tell how old the tree is by, you know, kind of counting those rings. So here is the multi-grafted tree, and they're even more multi-grafted now. You see, look at this, guys. Look at that. The flowers are starting to come out. So this here is a Chojuro that already forming. It's extremely warm today, guys. It's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Look at that. See, the buds are starting to form. And Sometimes you don't want your tree to bud too early. The reason for that is there could be a certain year where the temperature get really warm for like 3 to 4 weeks, and then your pears start to get really happy, and they start to put out all these flowers and blooms and stuff, and then the freeze come and snap and kill it all. So that could potentially be a problem here in Texas, because you never know. It's very unstable here. So today it's 77 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to drop down to like 42 degrees low. But again, you see these are fruiting buds right here. See, so make sure you don't cut those off. Sometimes it's easy to tell that they're fruiting buds because they're more plump, they're larger. But sometimes even the tiny one will sprout out some buds. It's really strange. So for pear, it's kind of hard to tell. But just know that if these branches right here, they're a little thicker, and they grow really close to the main trunk. And when you see those, even if they're crisscrossed, just leave them. You see, those are fruiting buds. So all of those are fruiting buds. So make sure you don't cut those off. Cut only the new growth if you want to trim them. So here, this is the so you see that? Those are buds coming out right there. This here is the Shinseiki, but then right here, that's my Hosui. So I have my Hosui on Shinseiki, and then Shinseiki on Hosui. So they're all over the place. Really nice varieties. All of them, I love them. So I don't mind. And then here we have the Shinko, and of course there's like all kind of grafts everywhere. And here is the new grafts that I added this year. This is the Yakumo. You see there? Buds forming. And then here, another Shuli. You see, the buds are forming. And then the Shinko variety, they're already starting to pop. You see, the buds are, they're breaking open. And here I have a Hosui. You see, the Hosui, it's already blooming with the leaves. I don't know how old these are. I bought them online, so they could be younger varieties. It could take time to produce fruits. You see, here's the Shinko. You see that? There's buds forming, flowers coming out. And I also prune a lot of the branches that are crisscross, so it looks pretty nice and clean. I'm still waiting for the ground to kind of harden up before I go up there and cut those branches off, because right now it's still wet. So when I bring my ladder out, the ladder kind of sink and it gets all dirty and stuff. So I don't want to do that right now. But I did trim everything from below. You see this, for example, this one here. See, anything that's crisscrossing and getting in the way of other growth, all those have been cleaned up. So that is the Shinko. And here is my persimmon. It got some really crazy damage from last year. The bugs attacked it and almost killed it. And so I gave it some treatment. I dug inside the bark, took all the bugs out. They were digging in there. They're eating the bark from the inside. And so it kind of killed it. You see, the whole branch was dead. I might have to cut that one off too. And see, because of that, the tree was stressed. And so you see, there's the graft union. You see that bump? And then these are the original rootstock. It started to grow out of that because the tree thought it was going to die. So it started to grow from the rootstock. But half of the tree still okay. But, I don't like the way it looks. I might just cut it off. But this is the rootstock variety. And then I'm training it. And then I'm going to graft back the variety that I lost. So regardless, if I trim that large branch off, I'll just graft back what it was before. I cut a bunch of Scion before the tree died. And this is the grafted from a variety that I grew from seed. Look how big that thing is. Hopefully it will fruit this year, and if it does, then I will see what kind of apple it is. And this is the last pear tree. This is another Shinko, and it has a lot of varieties grafted onto it as well. And as you can see, I started to trim. I need to trim up there as well. I need to get a ladder, but at the bottom I cleaned it all off. You see, it's nice and clean. There's no branch crisscrossing too much into each other. So yeah, the trees are looking good, starting to wake up. So let me show you my persimmon trees. And I almost forgot about this one here. This is the tree that I grew from seed, and I just added 2 new grafts this year. You see, look at how beautiful they are. They're grown already. So there, 2 new grafts onto a bunch of grafts that I've already done. Actually 3 new grafts. This is the 3rd one here, and they all took. And this is a tree that I grew from seed, and you see how I trained it into a circular pattern grown outward instead of crisscrossing each other. And this one is just starting to grow, and so I'm trying to pull this like that way so that it'll grow like that. And so eventually I may graft that one as well, but it is a beautiful tree. I love this thing, starting to wake up here. So this tree here is a tree that I got from air layering my multi-grafted tree. So every year that tree produced suckers or offshoots, and I purposely allow the suckers to grow, and then when it grows I air layer and I got these new trees. And so the rootstock here is a European pear, very strong variety, and then I'm grafting onto it right here, grabbing onto it right here and right here. So this one will be a multi-grafted tree pretty soon from a pear that I got from just air layering it. And same with this one here. This is the same thing. This is another air layering that I got from that tree, and I already grafted onto here once. And this is an unknown variety from the tree that I grew from seed. And then I grafted another one here. This is a Korean giant, so this is a three-way grafts. And here is another one that I just got. Same thing, air layer. So I will be grafting more varieties onto that, but let me show you the example. So here, see, these are offshoots, and it grows every year, and I just let it grow to a good size. This one I haven't done, but I will soon. And then I just, do the air laying process, and there it is, guys. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 trees that are going to be in the works, so I will have 4 more trees in the future. And so that is how I do the air laying, just in case you're interested. So here is my persimmons, and as you can see, look at that, nice and trimmed. I couldn't get up there yet, so those are still kind of like messy, but down here is very nice and clean. Everything has been trimmed, and same with this, nice and clean, trimmed off and pruned back. So that is it for now. We'll come back in a few weeks. That's when the flowers start to bloom, and that is the most beautiful time of the year, and also my favorite time of the year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.